Hi everyone, welcome back for another tutorial on this channel. Today we are going to learn yet another simple dress, and it's going to be a made to measure tutorial. As you can see in the short clip that I am showing you, this is just exactly how it turned out on me, and I hope you will enjoy creating this tutorial with me. So to get onto this tutorial, this is what we are going to do, and I would need you to pay attention to what I'm gonna draw here. We shall be making a halter dress. We will start from top, bottom, down, okay? And this is going to be the front of this dress. The front is going to be like this. It will come like this, come like this, and then come like this, come like this, okay? Meanwhile, the back is going to be the dotted at the front, okay? So the back is going to be like this, this, this. Okay, so we shall use a drawstring to, like tie the back, whichever way that you want to do it. So we are going to start with the front, and then at some point here we will advance to our back. I'm going to put the materials that we are going to be using for this tutorial in the next slide, so that you can have a grip of what to use. But I'm using a 4-ply 100% acrylic lightweight yarn. I'll be using a 3.5mm hook, a needle, stitch marker, and a scissor. If you're excited for this tutorial, like, comment, and subscribe. We are going to start by making a chain. I'm going to chain 30. This chain is where we will start from. Make a chain of 30 if you're using a lightweight yarn like me. If you're using a medium weight yarn, you can chain 25. If you're using a chunky yarn, which I don't think any of you is going to use, because we want this dress to be light and breathable, but what is recommended for your hook size is what you are going to chain. So let's chain 30. After chaining 30, you will chain 2, 1, 2, and then make a double crochet in the third chain. The stitch that we are going to be using is going to be a linked double crochet. After making your first normal double crochet, you are going to go into this. You have these loops. You have this loop here, one, you have this second one, and then you have that third one and the fourth one. So what you are going to do, you are going to skip these two loops and then go inside this third one that you are seeing here, okay? Insert your hook in there, pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook, and then you are going to go in the next chain, insert your hook in there, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, and then you pull through 2. You will still have 2 loops on your hook, and then pull through all. So you have made your linked double crochet. For the next stitch, you are going to go into this loop that you are seeing here, from the second stitch going onward, you'll be able to see it very well. So for this first row, this is what we will do. Then go in the next chain, pull through 2 and then pull through all. Okay, repeat that again. This time the loops are visible. You can see that it is in a straight line here. So after the first stitch and the second one, by the third it will just be very easy to grasp, and that is how we are going to be making a linked double crochet. So go inside this loop, pull up a loop, and then go in the next chain, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook, and then pull through 2, and then pull through all. Okay, we will repeat this up to the end of this chain. At the end of this chain, you should have 30 number of stitches. I'll meet you when I'm at the end of this row. I'm at the end of my row. This is how row 1 looks like. Let's measure how many inches we have here, and this depends also on your tension. I might have 5.5 here, yet you have 5 or 6 or 7 depending on your tension. So for the next row, which is row 2, we are now going to start increasing. We will increase instantly. Row 2, 3, 4 going onward will be rows of increase. So this is what you are going to do. Chain 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch, so turn your work. In that first stitch, make a double crochet, and then in that exact same stitch you are going to put another double crochet, and that is going to act as our first increase. So you go in this loop here, just like how I showed you in row 1, pull up a loop, and then go inside that same stitch, pull up a loop, and then make a double crochet. Then go inside that loop, pull up a loop. You'll have 2 loops on your hook. Go in the next stitch, pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on your hook. Pull through 2 and then pull through all. Repeat this until you are left with 1 stitch to end this row. I'll come back and show you how to increase to end row 2. I'm left with 1 stitch to end row 1, so you are going to go in here, pull up a loop, go in that last stitch, pull up a loop, and then make a double crochet. Then make another double crochet in that exact same stitch. So this is how your row 2 looks like. We are beginning to get that V shape. It's spreading out, and for row 3 you are going to repeat row 2. The chain 2 at the beginning doesn't count as a stitch, so you make a double crochet in this first stitch, then place another double crochet in that exact same stitch. Row 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is all going to be like row 2, which you will be repeating over and over again. And I'm just going to guide on what to do from here. Okay, so at this stage you are beginning to see how the pattern is coming out. It's so smooth and I like it that way. What you are going to do is to keep increasing this until you obtain half of your bust measurement. My yarn stretches which means when I'm crocheting, I need to ensure that when I stretch out, I will have like half of my bust measurement. My bust measurement is 33 inches, but I want a tight fit, so I'm going to be working with 32 inches. So if we stretch out this yarn, don't overstretch it. You are going to see that we have worked like for 6.5 inches, and if half of 32 is 16, which means I'm left with around 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 inches to work on. But as long as this stretches to half of 16 inches, which is half of my bust measurement, that is where I will stop. But if your yarn doesn't stretch, crochet all those desired inches which you need for your bust measurement. I'll meet you when I am done crocheting everything of mine. I have completed to crochet what is desired of me. I cannot tell how many rows I have here, but I think I ended on an even number of rows. So since my yarn stretches, let's stretch that out. I am working with 16 inches, which is half of my bust measurement. And when you place this on your tape measure, it should be able to stretch out, okay? Since I'm from stretching, it just practically like stretch out and remain that way. But I liked how the stitch turned out. So you see, even when I stretch out, it went like up to 17, which is still not bad. And you can see how this pattern is looking like. Instead of the normal double crochet that have spaces, you can see how tight a linked double crochet is. So from here, we are now going on to the next part, and the measurement from my top to up to my bust measures like 9 inches, and this is like in your under bust, okay? All right, so now this is what we are going to do. You are not going to cut out this yarn, you are going to make a chain. But before we make a chain, this is what you will do. Since I have already crocheted half of my bust, okay, this is my bust, okay, which is like 16 inches, all right? And the other 16, okay, is what you are not going to crochet, because my bust is 36. What you are going to do is to get your under bust measurement. Now my under bust measurement is 28 inches, okay? So I already have 16, which covers half of my bust, and my under bust, my bust is 32 divided by 2 is 16, okay? This is half. And then my under bust is 28 inches, okay? So what you are going to do is to subtract 28 minus 16 inches, which is that, and that is like how much? This is 4, right? This is 2. 8 minus 6 is 2, and that 12 inches. Now what we are going to do right now is to crochet 12 inches. But before you do that, you already have 16, assuming you use my measurement to calculate yours. If your bust is 40 and you've already obtained half of 40, you're going to get your under bust measurement, which is probably like 36 or 38, but follow my instructions for that. So So this remaining 12 inches, you are going to 12 minus 4, it will give you 8 inches. All right, or just depending on the gap that you want on your back. You can see the back of this dress. This is how the back of our dress is going to be. Okay, so the opening that you want here is what you should consider. Don't make it too wide nor too small, because you are going to use a rope or a string to tie these sides together. So my balance of, when you subtract 28 minus 16, it will give you 12. Now subtract 4 inches away, it will give you 8. And when you divide this 8 by 2, it is going to give you 4 inches. All right, that is just how I want mine to be, but I could work with 2 inches or 3 depending on how I want my back to show, but I don't want my back to overshow. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. After subtracting the balance, you are going to make a chain that is equivalent to the inches which you obtained. Mine were 4, but that 4 is too much. That 4 is too much. I'm going to work with 3 inches and make a chain that can stretch up to 3 inches. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 9 10 11 12. I want you people to all slow down and take this part very well, but I'll put it on the screen for you people to get it very right. So don't overstretch it. So I have now like 3 inches here. Okay, these are how many? 2 4 6 8 10. 2 4, those are like 14 number of chains. I will not cut out my yarn. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get another yarn and make 14 chains, which I will attach onto this part. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then maybe 15 too. So go on top of this chain here, this one, to slip stitch. Okay, or join it with a single crochet, whichever that works for you. All right, then cut out your yarn. Like that. Okay, so what you're going to do, you are going to chain 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch and turn your work, and then make a double crochet in that 3rd chain, and then proceed to make link double crochet in all this chain that you are seeing. We shall crochet this until we reach our lower waist. Okay, like that. Okay, so you are going to crochet from this point And when you reach here, you proceed to the end of this row. I'll meet you when we are going to start the next row because we are no longer increasing. This is what your row should look like. Now what is going to happen from this point is for you to crochet until your lower waist without increasing. You can see we had 14 stitches here and I still ended up with 14 number of stitches here. So you will crochet when you reach your lower waist measurement. That is where we shall come back again. But when you fold this like this, okay, because it stretches, you are going to be able to see how that turns out. You use a rope to just, you know, like tie this around. I'll meet you when I am done extending this up to my lower waist. I have been able to crochet up to my lower waist. You can see on the side of the screen how it turns out on me. The demonstration is just to show you what to expect when you crochet as per the guidance in this tutorial. You can see the coverage from the back, how I have shown for you people. The rest will be filled by the straps that we are going to use for tying it from behind. For those of you who have ever worn a corset, you know how tight it's being pulled, so that gap there is gonna fill itself up. That's why I decided to create mine wide like that. But if you don't want a wider coverage, as I explained earlier, you can crochet more inches compared to how I guided. All right, now what we are going to do next is to start crocheting in the round, and we will do that by making a chain and then joining it onto this other side of our dress. Now I was working with 28 inches for my underbust, and I explained how we got to this point. Now what you are going to do is to crochet the remainder of the other inches which we didn't crochet. The only way for you to crack that easily is by folding your work into two. Okay, like that. I just like showing easier and quicker methods instead of over explaining things which might be complex, but this is another quick way to know how much you should crochet based on our instruction. Now when you fold this into two like this, it will give you from here up to this point is going to give you, let's see, remember my yarn stretches. This is like 10.1, okay, 10.5, and when you divide that by 2 it's 21 inches. So when I stretch this out, let's stretch it out, don't overstretch. When I stretch it out, it is 12 inches, which means 12 times 2 is 24, and I am working with 28 inches, which means now I need to crochet the remaining 4 inches that I need for my lower part. Okay, I hope you have understood this very well, because this is important. You want this dress to slip from your head shoulder down. Now what we are going to do, you are going to make a chain. I already have like 21 that can stretch up to 24, so I need to make a chain that can stretch like up to 28 inches to give me the remaining balance. You will join this chain onto this other side, stretch out your yarn if your yarn stretches, because you don't want to have a loose fit at the end. But if your yarn doesn't stretch, just crochet those desired inches. Now I have like 6 inches here. Okay, let's see when you join this onto this other side, on top of this first stitch here, join using a single crochet. This is how it's supposed to look like after joining. So now let's see, I like to fold. It helps me get the accurate measurements I need for myself. Then when I fold this like that, and then I measure this, okay, is 14. Okay, now 14 by 2 is 28, and remember I stretch out this yarn, so that just works perfectly for me. And also you need to ensure that when you slip this on your head shoulder down, it should be able to enter. Now when you are done making your chain and joining it onto this other side of your dress with a single crochet, you are going to have to cut out this yarn like that. Okay, this is the part where you now get your stitch marker, because we are going to start working in the round, and I advise that the chain that you make here should be a number divisible by 2. I didn't count how many chains I made here, but the measurements that I got were accurate for me. So I will find the center point of this chain, which will act as the middle part, because when we crochet in the round, we want to start the row somewhere here and end from that point. I have found the center point of this dress. When you have gotten yours, place a stitch marker there, and then after that you are going to organize it like this, and then place your stitch markers on the side. The sides are where you are going to be increasing. We shall start increasing immediately, and we will be alternating it with a row of no increase. So to start this row, you are going to reattach your yarn back where the stitch marker is and crochet in the round where you will end in this row, and you are going to crochet in the opposite direction. So attach your hook back in there, grab your yarn, chain 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. You are going to place a double crochet in there, and then in the next chain make a linked double crochet. Repeat this up to the point of the stitch marker is where I will meet you, so that we can add our first increase. Now the other stitch marker came out. I think it was somewhere here. Anyway, we're at the point where we have a stitch marker and we are going to increase immediately. So you are going to be placing 2 linked double crochet in the same space. This is 1, this is 2. Get your stitch marker and move it up, and then continue to crochet up to your next point of your stitch marker where you will place another increase. When you reach that point, place 2 linked double crochet in that place where there's a stitch marker. After that, crochet up to the end. I will meet you when we will be closing this row to start our next row. If you're enjoying this tutorial and haven't subscribed to this channel, kindly please click on the subscribe button and subscribe. You can leave me a comment and let me know what or how you are crocheting, or if there are any other challenges that you are having. Now we are going to join this row onto the other one. You should ensure that this other side where we had a chain is not twisted, okay? As you can see, mine is not twisted. All right, now we are going to join this stitch on top of the first stitch. So find it, it's this stitch here. Use a slip stitch to join like that. Now to start the next row, you are going to chain 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Turn your work. Now place a double crochet in that same stitch where you chain 2. And then place a linked double crochet in the next stitches. For this row, you shall not increase. When you reach the point of the stitch marker, move it up, okay? What you shall be doing is to repeat a row of increase and no row of increase until when you obtain your hip size. My hip measurement is 40 inches, and you should ensure that when you crochet this, it should be able to measure 20 inches. That means 1/2 of your dress is going to be 20 inches. When you multiply 20 by 2, that will give you 40. But remember, if your yarn stretches, consider it and don't ignore it. But if your yarn doesn't stretch, crochet all the required inches that is needed of you. All right, these other parts are just so simple, okay? I'm not going to over drag it. Now when you reach here, place a linked double crochet and then move the stitch marker up. When you are done with this row, I'll meet you how to end and start, and then after that we will just crochet until we obtain our hip measurement. To end this row, you are going to join it using a slip stitch. Place the slip stitch on top of the first stitch at the beginning of this row, which is this one. And slip stitch. Chain 2. The chain 2 doesn't count as a stitch. To start the next row, you are going to place a double crochet in the same space where you chained 2. So this is how you will always start and end your row. This next row is a row of increase. So when you reach at the point of the stitch marker, you are going to place 2 linked double crochet in that same space, which is this one here, okay? And then you proceed up to the next point of your stitch marker, and then again place 2 linked double crochet. You shall alternate these rows until when you obtain your hip measurement. For now, this is how it's looking like. Okay, the effect might not be too visible right now, but as you crochet, you are going to see it spreading out. All right, I'll now leave you to it, and we shall meet when I have obtained half of my hip measurement, because you want the size to measure all the same. So half of this should measure 20 inches for me, like when I stretch it out. All right, I'll see you when I am done obtaining those measurements of mine. So I have crocheted what can stretch up to my hip measurement. When I measure this without stretching, is like 16.5, but when I stretch this out, it stretches up to 20 inches, okay, just like that. So you need to ensure that as long as your yarn stretches, you don't have to crochet all the desired 20 inches for your hip measurement unless you want a loose fit. So the next part, we shall just be crocheting in the round minus increasing. So go about crocheting in the round up to when this dress can cover all your knees, okay? After that, we'll come back here and get on to the next part in this tutorial, but this is still how your back should look like. We'll come and work on these parts when we are done with the lower part of this dress. Catch you until then. I have finished to crochet the desired length which I needed. Do the same for yourself, and this is how your work should look like so far from behind. This basically just covers all the downer part of your dress. Now the next part in this tutorial is going to be a little bit different. We are going to crochet a lace stitch down here, and the stitch that I'm going to work with the open shell stitch. The open shell stitch works with the multiples of 7 plus 5. Now I cannot guarantee that these stitches which I have round is a multiple of 7. I've not counted, and I don't want all of you to worry, but we can always find a way to compromise somewhere, and I just want us to go with the flow. Is that all right? Now let's continue. After that, you are going to now turn your work and then make a chain of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. After chaining 5, you are going to make a double crochet in the same stitch, and it's going to act as our first V-stitch. Just find it. Mine is a little bit tight. The chain 5 is already a stitch, okay? That is 3 chains, and then chain 2 a double crochet, which has created our first V-stitch. Next, you are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you are going to skip 6 stitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then make a V-stitch in the 7th stitch. This is how you make a V-stitch. Double crochet, chain 3, double crochet again in the same space, okay, like that. Okay, you can already see how that is turning out, and then you are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, all right, skip 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches, and then make a V-stitch in the 7th stitch by making a double crochet, chain 3, and then make another double crochet in the same pace. You shall repeat this up to the end. Don't worry so much about this stitch being multiples of 7. We shall figure that out as we go, all right? I'm going to meet you just when we are about to end this row. So let me show you one again. After chaining 4, you will skip 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then in the 7th stitch you make a V stitch. A V stitch is a double crochet, chain 3, and then double crochet. This is row 1 of our open shell stitch. Catch you when we are going to end our row here. I'm nearing to the end. I do not know how many stitches I am left with, but let's see how that goes. So chain 4, skip 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then in the 7th make a V stitch. One, 2, 3, 4. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. I think I won yarn chicken. It's like winning yarn chicken. My goodness. Okay, now I'm not going to put a V stitch here. I am going to maybe chain 5 because I have 1 2 3 4 5 6, and in the 7th stitch I was supposed to put a V stitch, yet I already have this one. So what I'm going to do, I will compensate for the next stitch, which is the 7th stitch. I added one more stitch, which is a chain 5, and I am going to go on top of the 3rd chain, which is 1 2 3, like 1 2, on top of the 3rd chain here, and join my yarn and then slip stitch there in the middle. So if you're lucky like me, do the same. If you are not lucky like me, for example, let's say you're left with 5 stitches, okay, you are going to just chain 4 and slip stitch at the beginning of our 1st stitch. If you're left with 3 stitches, do the same. Let's say if you're left with again, for example, 8 stitches, you might have to skip 1 2 3 4, and then in the 5th stitch make a V stitch and then chain 3 to join your work. If you're left with 9 stitches, just do the usual 7, and then after that chain 4, join your work. I think that can work. We shall just correct the rest in row 2. In row 1, when you have figured that out, we shall now proceed to row 2 of our open shell stitch. For row 2 of our open shell stitch, after slip stitching in the middle here, let's join that again. Let's just slip stitch inside here. There's no much different, okay, and then slip stitch again, so that is in the middle. Then chain 3. The chain 3 counts as a stitch. So this is what you're going to do. You are going to place 3 more double crochets inside this space. That is 1, 2, 3. After making 3 double crochets in the same space, which is the V stitch space, you are going to single crochet in the chain 4 space like that, okay? After single crochet, you are going to make 7 double crochets in this V stitch space here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7, like that, and single crochet in the chain 4 space. Make another 7 double crochet in the V stitch space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then make a single crochet in the chain 4 space. You shall repeat this, and we meet in this spot here where we will end this row. And now we shall end this row. You place a single crochet in this chain 4 space, go on top of the chain 3 to slip stitch. This is where we started our row from, okay? We shall be starting our row here, and it's going to be a little bit different. Now you are going to slip stitch in the next stitch. We want to bring this stitch in the middle, okay? And then you are going to slip stitch in here, turn your work. Now you are going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? We shall create a V-stitch here, so place another double crochet in this same space. So it's going to be a double crochet, which is the chain 3, and then the chain 1 space, and then another double crochet. This is how we'll start our row, and we shall be repeating row 2 and row 3 of the shell stitch over and over again. So let me go ahead and show you that. Chain 4, and now you are going to count 1, 2, 3, and then in the 4th stitch, which is the middle, you shall place a V-stitch there by making a double crochet, chain 3, another double crochet, like that. And then you chain 4 again, keep 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th stitch make a V stitch. Like that. Go all around, and we meet when we shall end this row here. I am ending the row. I've already made my chain 4, so the next is just to slip stitch in this chain 1 space, okay? So if we weren't working in the row, this is how we would be ending each and every row. But since we are working in the round, I feel like we should just maintain the 7 double crochets inside the V-stitch instead of a 4 here. So now we shall compromise. Instead of having 4 double crochets at the beginning of our row, we shall just maintain the 7th one. I know that we started with the chain 4 and the space might not be enough, but we will compromise, okay? So turn your work, like just slip stitch there again. So what we are going to do, I want this stitch to be in the middle. Just figure out a way of making sure that your stitch is in the middle. What we shall do, we shall chain 3. The chain 3 already counts as a stitch, and we make 4 double crochets here. That is 3 already, then this is the 4th one, and then we will go around with repeating row 2 and then end with 3 double crochets in this same space from this other side, okay? I'm going to meet you when I reach in this point. Now you are going to end this row with 3 double crochets in this same space. One, 2, and 3. And then find a chain 3 which you made at the beginning, make a slip stitch on top of it, like that, okay? So this is how our work will be looking like. So what you do next is to repeat row 3. You are going to chain 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, instead of a chain 4 now, you chain 5 and then make a double crochet in the same stitch. Like that. And then you chain 4, skip 1 2 3, and then on top of the 4th stitch make a V stitch. Like that. Okay, at this point you are now on your way to repeating this up to your hem. That is if you want it to your hem, but your desired length matters. Crochet that desired length which you need. I'm going to keep crocheting and meet you right back here when I am done. You need to rewind back in case you get lost to just figure out where the challenge for you might be. After this, we will now come and work on the upper body of our dress. Until then, catch you all. So this is where I end with my open shell stitches, and this is how it looks like. Let's see how many rows I have. You need to make sure that you end on a row of the shell stitch. All right, so I have 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. So these are 32 rows of mine, and this is how your work looks like. What you're seeing here is that the shell stitches are, the good side is inside, so you are going to flip your work so that when you wear this, the good side should be out. Now let's flip our work like that. Now this is how it should look like. Now for the upper part, we are going to create a border for this upper part so that we can block off the sides. All right, what we shall do, we are going to start by making single crochet. We will attach our yarn here. Let's see. Yeah, we will start on this side. The single crochet, I want the good side to face us inside. If we start here, which means we are starting from inside, but let's start from this side, whereby when we work on our single crochet, the good side is facing us outside. To start working on the single crochets here, you are going to make a chain, and then attach your yarn at the corner of the very first stitch. Pull it out like that, chain 1, and then make a single crochet in that exact same space like that. Make single crochets in every stitch that you see. Place only one single crochet. I'll meet you when we reach in this corner here. So in this corner here, which is this one, you are going to make a single crochet, only one single crochet, okay? And then inside this space, another one single crochet, and then inside this loop which you're seeing, one single crochet. In the next, another one single crochet, okay? Then in this eye that you are seeing here, one single crochet. You shall repeat this all through, okay? Only one single crochet. I'm going to meet you when we reach at the top here. I'm at the top where I said we would meet, but this is how the edge looks like so far. Very neat. Now when you are here at the top, you are going to make a very long chain. The chain is going to help you tie your dress from behind, so make it really very long. I'm going to chain probably over 100 or even 150, and then meet you right back here when I am done making my very long chain. I made 151 chain, so make a single crochet or slip stitch, whatever that works for you, depending on how thick you want your chain to be. So if you are doing single crochet, you are going to go in the second chain and make a single crochet. If you are doing slip stitch, you will still go in the second chain and make a slip stitch. So I am going to go with a slip stitch. Make slip stitch up to the end of this chain. I'll meet you when we are at the very end of our chain. I'm at the end of my chain, and this is how my chain looks like so far. Okay, it's just long enough. Now for this other part here, we are going to continue with our single crochets. Okay, so you are going to go in this same space where you started the chain stitch from and make a single crochet, and then place one single crochet in every stitch that you see here. Like that. Okay, so this is how it will look like. Now when you reach this point, you are going to make the exact number of chain which you made for this other side, and then slip stitch through it. When you are done with the slip stitches, you will make single crochets from this point, just like how we did it on this other side, to this spot and up to this end. This is where I will meet you all again, so that we can now start working on this other side of our dress. Catch you until then. So this is how the top part of your dress is going to look like when you are done placing single crochets in all the sides. We started from here to this point, and we are now down here. So what we are going to do for this part here, okay, is going to be a little bit different. Insert your hook right back in there. You are going to make half double crochet all round, and this is how you will do it. You will chain one and then place a half double crochet in that first stitch. Okay, and then place a half double crochet in every space that you see here. The only difference is we are placing half double crochet instead of single crochets. All right, ensure that it is only one stitch in every space. This is going to give us the border that we need for our back, and it's also going to help us pass through our chain. Okay, this, okay, like that. Like this all through. Make these half double crochets. When you reach in this corner, you will just place one half double crochet and then make half double crochets on top of every stitch that you see here. When you reach here in the middle, still one half double crochet to this point, and then up to this corner. That is where I'm going to meet all of you. Then in this very last stitch, you are going to insert your hook in there, I don't know if it can go on both, but if it doesn't, just insert your hook in there and then slip stitch. Pull out your yarn, get your scissor and cut it out. So this is how the back of our dress looks like. This loose end is something which we will hide soon or later. This is the top. What we are going to do is to insert this chain in here. This is how you are going to do it. Weaving in the tail of your yarn is going to be off camera for you all. I'm just going to get that out of the way for now. So this is how you will do it. You are going to insert this chain inside this back in a cross zigzag shape. Okay, if you want to do it this way, it's still your choice. If you don't want to make it cross zigzag, it's still your choice. Okay, either way, playing with how you insert this chain behind here is your choice. If you're doing a cross, this is how you will do it. You will insert and get it through like that. Okay, and then get this like that. Step 1. Now step 2, you are going to, I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to go in the 8th loop and insert this in there like that. Okay, and then do the same for this side. I don't know if I even made my chain long enough. I don't like short chains, but I'll work around with it. 2, 4, 6, 8. Since it's my dress, I can always improvise. Okay, so you are going to repeat this until you reach this corner here, and that's where I'm going to meet all of you. Now when you are done passing your chain, this is how it's going to look like. I just made a very short chain and I am not in the right place right now. I have gone too far to do anything about it. So when you are done here, this is what you are going to do. You are going to find the center part of this, okay, and then we will pass this through here. It will help us tie our dress from behind. Okay, so this is what you are going to do. You are going to insert your hook and just, I don't know, play around with it. And my lighting is shifting. I don't know. Like that. And then you do the same for this other side. Like that. Okay, so that when you tie, it can gather itself like that. Okay, so that is it for today, and this is it for today. Okay, and then this is the front part. It's looking tiny here, but it's just because I over pulled it from behind here, like how you wear a corset, okay? Otherwise, with this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. I appreciate all of you so much. Kindly please join my membership. It's open and the link is in my description box. Love you all and catch you again in my next tutorial. Bye.